back by the time we're finished.
I'm not leaving without my men, Sharp.
Okay, let's simplify
All
this.
I'm gonna have is a real expensive firework. Shut this bomb down now!
Don't.
65 million years ago, the Earth was hit by a small meteor that caused massive explosions and covered its atmosphere with dust until the sun could no longer penetrate it. At present, astronaut Pete travels to space in a space shuttle named Atlantis to explore with NASA's guidance. Pete finishes with his task and his colleagues at the NASA Space Center prepare to reel him back to the shuttle. All of a sudden, the video communication becomes shaky and some turbulence is sensed. Chaos ensues at NASA Space Center trying to figure out what happened. The situation is reported to the president, who orders his generals to figure out if they had been attacked by one of their enemies and been pulled into a war. In the morning, as Atlantis' accident is broadcast over the news, a meteor lands on the city, causing mayhem. This shocking incident repeats itself all over the major cities of the world, and all hell breaks loose. General Kimsey, on behalf of the president of Air Force One, calls NASA demanding to know what's going on and if the country should prepare for war. Executive Director of NASA Dan Truman explains that a massive meteor shower is responsible for the destruction and promises to update the White House as soon as his team learns more. NASA does some research and learns that the meteor shower will be followed by an asteroid the size of Texas, which will bring the end of mankind. After further investigation, it's discovered that the asteroid is 18 days away from Earth. Meanwhile, on the South China Sea, third-generation oil driller and owner of an oil drilling company, Harry Stamper, takes a break from his tasks and relaxes on the sea. He's then informed that one of his young employees, AJ Frost, had ignored his orders to turn off the machines and that they had been running all night. Harry storms into AJ's room to scold him. After a few minutes of discussion, Harry realizes that a girl is hiding in AJ's bed and is terrified to learn that it's his daughter, Grace. Furious, Harry runs to get his rifle and chases AJ around, shooting at him until all the staff beg him to stop. Harry pays them no mind and keeps chasing AJ, almost injuring him, until his clients show up. Meanwhile, at NASA, Dan gathers all his staff to discuss possible strategies on how to handle the impending doom. Back at the oil rig, Grace and Harry have an intense fight over her relationship with AJ, which Harry forbids. Then, all of a sudden, the rig hits a gas pocket, and since the machine had been running all night, it starts taking a hit. Harry and all his staff help each other out in stabilizing the rig so that they can hit the oil reserve properly. After managing to do so, Harry blames AJ for endangering his men's lives and fires him. At NASA, after a hard, long discussion, Dan and his team devise a plan to travel to space and drill a hole inside the dangerous asteroid, into which they will bury and detonate a nuclear bomb to destroy the asteroid from inside. For this, they realize they need a skilled and experienced driller, and upon research, learn about Harry. Hence, Commander Montgomery of the Pacific Air Forces is sent to bring in Harry. Harry accepts the invitation and takes his daughter with him, hoping to get her away from AJ to the NASA Space Center. At the center, Dan explains the situation to Harry and Grace that the meteor shower was caused by meteors pushed out of the asteroid belt by a collision. Dan adds that the collision has also dislodged a massive asteroid, which is on its way to Earth. He then details their plan of action to contain the asteroid and asks Harry to train a group of astronauts to drill as his techniques are the best. Harry examines the drill machine that the astronauts have been training with and learns that it's one of his designs. Upon seeing the group and how clueless they are in operating the machine, he requests the freedom to choose his own team, consisting of men he trusts, and go with them to space to do the mission. Dan agrees, and Harry sends for his best friend Chick Chappell, brilliant geologists Rockhound and Oscar Choice, and drillers Bear, Max, Curleen, Freddy, and even though they fell out, AJ. The group travels to the Space Center, gets an extensive medical and psychological examination to make sure they can handle the demanding mission and starts preparing for their space training. Even though most of the members of the group fail the medical examinations, NASA is out of options and authorizes them to start training. First, the group is taken to see the two super shuttles to fly to the asteroid named Freedom and Independence and their pilots. Then they meet different specialists who train them on the various aspects of space travel and who hope they can master the skills that usually take months to learn in just a few days. The intense training continues and the group tries to absorb as much as possible. Dan gathers the group and details the plan of the mission in sequence, stressing that they should aim to get to the asteroid, finish drilling a deep hole, and detonate the bomb before it passes the zero barriers, after which the exploded fragments of the asteroid will hit and destroy the Earth. A couple of days later, AJ discreetly proposes to Grace and she accepts. The group continues to work hard, and the night before takeoff, Harry requests a night off for all his men so that they can enjoy themselves and see their family. AJ and Grace spend some time together. Chick goes to his estranged ex-wife's residence to apologize for everything and see his son who doesn't know him, while Rockhound and Max go to a strip club and get in trouble. Later that night, Dan is informed of an approaching meteorite. Then Dan is dismayed to learn that the classified information of the impending doom has gone public. He and Harry spend the evening chit-chatting and trying to calm each other down. In the morning at T12 before taking off, Grace takes time out to see her father, thanks him for a wonderful childhood, apologizes for fighting with him, and tells him how much she loves him, which warms him. Later that day, the whole world watches as the makeshift astronauts prepare for takeoff and applauds them with support and appreciation as they go to board their shuttles. AJ takes charge of Independence along with its pilot and some of the drilling team, while Harry leads Freedom. Before they go their separate ways, Harry tells AJ to take care of himself. After everyone boards, all the necessary checks are done and the mission is authorized for takeoff.
Heads up, everybody, they're ours now.
All engines are go.
Keep a sharp eye out on both of them.
The shuttles get on their way and successfully dock with the Russian space station, operated by Commander Lev Andropov, to take on fuel. Upon arrival, Commander Lev shows the group around, warns them not to touch anything, and starts refilling their fuel tanks. Unfortunately, fuel leaks through the fuel pods and starts igniting, which shocks everyone and causes hysteria. AJ, who was in the basement of the station, monitoring the pressure valve, gets isolated and trapped there while everyone starts making their way out. The group realizes this and scrambles to open the basement door while the Earth team holds their breath. The team gets lucky and manages to help AJ climb up just as the fire starts advancing. Commander Lev follows AJ, and the two manage to get back to the shuttles seconds before the space station explodes. The shuttles continue on their way and advance toward the asteroid to carry out the next phase of the plan. After traveling some distance, Independence reports that they are being hit by flying debris, which causes heavy turbulence. The Earth crew becomes worried as the shuttle sways out of its path and tries to guide them, but the communication is interrupted. And after some time, Freedom arrives on the asteroid but overshoots its landing site. Harry and the rest of the crew, together with the Earth team, take time out to mourn their friends on Independence. Harry and his team dismount their shuttle and set up their equipment to start drilling, but as soon as Max gets the drilling machine started, it hits an iron plate and stops. They change the spots a couple of times, but the same thing happens, and back on Freedom, its pilot, Colonel Willie Sharp, tries to contact the Earth team to update their status, but the connection is interrupted, and the shuttle goes radio silent. Back on Earth, General Kimsey learns that if the radio silence continues, they only have 5 minutes to take the secret backup plan and detonate the bomb remotely. Elsewhere, AJ regains consciousness, wiggles himself out of the debris, and as he goes around the dismantled shuttle, trying to check on his men, he learns that only Commander Lev and Bear have survived. The trio try to find their way around the asteroid, but fail to understand their surroundings. They then set off their shuttle's truck, Armadillo, and try to navigate their way to the drilling site. On Earth, the president decides to remotely detonate the bomb and orders General Kimsey to take care of it, which frustrates the NASA staff, especially Dan, who tries to convince the general to reconsider to no avail. The nuclear bomb is activated and starts its countdown to freedom, where Harry gets in an intense fight with Colonel Willy, who supports the backup as he believes they won't drill the required depth in time to save humanity. Dan buys the men some time by discreetly telling one of his staff to disrupt the general's override. The general restarts the override as Colonel Willy continues fighting with Harry, who wants to manually deactivate the bomb. Harry manages to convince the colonel to help him, promising to hit the required depth in time, and they work together to deactivate the bomb with microseconds left on the clock. Then the team comes together, prepares everything, and Max starts the drilling machine. After drilling some depth, the machine hits a gas pocket which causes turbulence. Harry is devastated by what happened and informs Dan that the mission has failed and advises everyone on Earth to prepare for their final few hours of life. Everyone on Earth is devastated and gathers with their families. Then all of a sudden, Harry sees AJ's Armadillo advancing towards them and is overjoyed along with his team. The team is revitalized, grabs their last pieces of equipment, and gives the mission one last try. AJ takes control of the drilling machine and with Harry's support, manages drills to the required depth while evading the massive meteor shower hitting the asteroid. Just as they celebrate their feat, Colonel Willy is shocked to note that the meteor shower has destroyed the remote detonator, which means that someone has to sacrifice their life, stay behind, and manually detonate the bomb. Everyone is gutted, including the Earth team. The Colonel proposes they should leave it to chance and take draws to decide who will be left behind. AJ gets the scary draw and the Colonel shows him how to detonate the bomb. Harry offers to walk AJ out of the shuttle, and once he does, he pushes his future son-in-law back inside, airlocks the shuttle, and declares that he's the one staying behind. AJ freaks out and tries to get to him, but Harry calms him down, asks him to take care of his daughter, and tells him that he has always seen him as his own son. The emotional AJ returns to the shuttle, and Colonel Willy prepares the shuttle for flight. Harry calls his daughter at the space station, and the two share an emotional farewell. Freedom struggles to lift, which worries everyone. Then Commander Lev manages to fix it, and the crew finally takes off from the asteroid. Everyone on Earth is relieved to hear of the mission's success and await the return of the brave crew. Upon their return, the group receives a hero's welcome as everyone shows their appreciation. The movie ends as Grace and AJ get married in a beautiful old church, with all the crew in attendance and the pictures of the fallen heroes standing tall. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Watch our next videos on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you on the next one.